Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tre'von and Dave's MANTASTICAL podcast. On this
That's
show,
right.
we'll be talking about The Last of Us 2, and we'll be spoiling some stuff.
Yeah, some stuff.
So, you like the game, right?
I love it so
Uh,
much.
I can't say I love it.
But
I'm
you also
very
didn't play it, right?
true, but I did experience the storyline, and
Yeah,
story-wise, I don't think I love it as much as the first.
that's fair. I don't either. But I don't know that I was ever going to. I mean, it's really difficult to live up to almost a decade of hype, you know?
Yeah, that's probably why Grand Theft Auto is pushing off GTA 6 so much.
God, I this might be a hot take, but I've never played the Grand Theft Auto that I've enjoyed. I
Dave,
dislike every single
no.
one of them.
Dave, no.
Yeah, the mission design is terrible,
Dave,
which
no.
is actually my biggest criticism of Red Dead. Also, I think Rockstar's game or mission design specifically is outdated.
I wish I could comment on this, but I can't because. Okay, Grand Theft Auto, I put maybe. GTA 5, I put maybe like 37 days worth of time into that game.
Jeez.
I haven't played one mission.
Yeah, see? That's the thing.
It's
I like
always me
games.
fucking around doing other shit.
Yeah, I can only do that for so long. Like an hour and I'm bored. And I did play the missions and I got up to this one where I don't remember any of the characters' names, but you have to go you go take like a tow truck or something from some woman named Tanya, and you have to go tow this car illegally, I think, and then bring it back to this really specific parking lot. And the cops start chasing you. It's either the cops or the owner of the car. Somebody starts chasing you, and there's like a gate that's like the width of the truck that you have to go through to get into the parking lot. And I got wedged in between the gate, and I was stuck. Couldn't get out of the truck because the doors were blocked. The truck was blocked on both ends, and I was like, "Oh well, guess I'm done playing this game."
Yeah. Well, in that mission, does it let you like get out of the truck at all, or are you just like stuck in it? Because usually, whenever your like car doors pinned down in GTA, you could press Y and like it'll just teleport you out of the car.
I think if you get out, you fail, but I'm not sure. I don't
Eh,
remember. It was a while ago.
eh, you know. The only reason I want GTA 6 is because GTA Online is kind of boring to me. However, it's making boatloads
GTA
of money,
Online,
so
that's the problem. That's the real problem. GTA Online is trash.
it's 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 cancerous.
They make the missions and the gameplay so repetitive and such a grind to get anything that they basically force you into buying shark cards.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I hate it. I think it's so bad for the game industry.
Well, it's 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 a problem that we've known of for a long time. You know, the microtransaction thing. You know, EA's done it. I mean,
Yeah,
Fortnite has
yeah.
done it, but Fortnite, to their credit, they put out a free game and then they
Yep,
had to monetize it somehow. So with them, it's understandable why there's 10,000 different items you can buy.
totally. I'm okay, more okay at least, with microtransactions in a free game. But when you pay full price for the game, and then not only like microtransactions would be one thing, but if they're specifically going in and making the grind more of a grind just to push people toward buying the things, like I'm afraid Assassin's Creed is doing that too, because you can buy experience to just skip through playing the whole game. So like if they make it more of a grind just to push people in that direction,
Well, you know what's
I don't like
surprising
that.
about that? There are certain games where you have to grind that they could have totally put like Dark Souls. I don't think they have really any microtransactions that I know
Not
of.
that I know of. Yeah.
They're just like, hey, sweat it out, bitch. You know,
Yeah.
keep
That's kind
playing if
of,
you want to get something.
yeah, you gotta get good.
Or
That's
Fallout.
kind of from, yeah, don't get me started on Bethesda. I guess Fallout was good until Fallout 76, I think.
Fallout
Although
76.
I've,
That was the that that was the online one, right?
yeah.
Let's not talk about that one.
Yeah, no, that's for another episode, I think.
I mean,
But yeah, Last of Us too.
here's the thing. I only recently got into Fallout. I mean, well, we're talking about Fallout. Like Fallout, I maybe got into 8 months ago. I bought New Vegas
Hmm.
on Steam during like a summer sale, and then I finally started playing it, and I fucking got addicted. In the same way that I got addicted to GTA 5, I haven't done any of
Yeah,
the missions, but I put 78 hours into just exploring and
jeez.
murdering everyone. Dave, I'm a problem in that game. I've killed every city. I've destroyed every town I've come across. Like
That's
good,
one of the
bad,
really
or
cool
indifferent.
things about those games. You can kill like a a character that
You
is
can kill
important to
children.
a story. Yeah, well, I've always heard New Vegas is the best Fallout from a lot of people,
That's my problem.
but
I've heard.
because that one was made by Obsidian.
Was it? I wouldn't know. That's my problem though. Now I also have Fallout 3 and I have Fallout 4. I haven't touched either of them though. But now I'm like, am I gonna disappoint myself if I go back
Hmm.
to Fallout 3 or move to Fallout 4? Because New Vegas is such a good game. The world is so detailed, and there are
Yeah.
so many different little things you could discover without even doing the missions or the campaign or whatever it would be.
See, I've never fully played a Fallout game because I don't like the gameplay or the graphics, but I really do want to try New Vegas. But also, I played The Outer Worlds recently. Have you played that at all?
No, but I think it's like space Fallout, right?
Basically, and it's made by Obsidian, who made the first two Fallouts and New Vegas. And it's a lot of fun, and I think the graphics are a lot better than Fallout 4 and all the previous ones. I mean, it came out a lot later, so that makes sense. But it's really fun, and I feel like after playing that, if I try to go back and play Fallout 4 or something, I'm gonna be like, nah, this ain't it, Chief.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. I mean, I've always thought of it like this. Like there's Fallout and then there's like Skyrim,
Mm,
and like they're kind of like the same thing but different eras. So I feel like that's just a third branch of that but in space. So like
yeah,
Skyrim's like medieval and magic, Fallout, and then Fallout's like
I
nuclear apocalypse Fallout, and then there's Outer Worlds, which is space Fallout. It's all
yeah,
Fallout.
yeah. Basically, I have another hot take. I do not like Skyrim at all.
I haven't played Skyrim, nor have I played
I think it's,
Morrowind or Oblivion.
yeah, neither have I. I think it's just Bethesda games that I don't like. I think they're ugly, and I think the gameplay is so crude and not current generation. It feels last gen. You
Yeah,
know, like you'll have a dude and he's just like swinging his weapon.
I see what you mean.
I don't know.
No, it's kind of. I mean, this is a weird thing to compare it to, but it's kind of like Minecraft, where
Yeah, I can see
there's just
that.
sort of. It's not like this complex animation to it that could
Right.
really be used, and they're not taking advantage of the newer technology that we have.
Totally. That's why I like The Last of Us 2 so much. Bring it back around to that.
Segue.
The combat, man. It's so good. It's so smooth. It's like melted butter. It's so smooth.
Okay, the thing I took from the combat, it was largely the same with the exception of like two main things which were sort of the big differences between Last of Us 2 and the first game. One is the stealth. You could be stealthier much easier in this game, and two, the killing, like the stealth kills. Uh,
Hmm.
you have sort of more options to kill people stealthily.
Yeah, I would say so. It's almost entirely a stealth game if you really want to play it that way. Like, there are entire combat sequences that you can just skip altogether.
Yeah, I mean, so the it's not a spoiler to say there's dogs in this game, right?
No, everybody knows that.
Okay. The parts with the dogs, I don't see a really like I don't see a way of getting around it without killing the dogs and killing their handler too.
You can do it. It's much, much more difficult, but it can be done. You just got to throw a lot of bricks and bottles, distract the dogs because they'll go straight for those, and then just get out of there.
Yeah.
But usually, what I do is I'll place a trip mine and right in the dog's scent trail, and just let them sniff into it. The first playthrough, I was like, this is awful. I don't want to kill any of these dogs. And then by the second one, I was like, trip mine all of them. They're so annoying.
Okay, so I'm going to give a spoiler warning to everyone watching or listening. Skip to whatever time I put in the description of this video to avoid spoilers for The Last of Us 2. 5,
You've
4,
been warned.
3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Spoilers. Leave now. Spoilers. Okay, so 2 hours into the game, they kill off
Hmm.
Joel.
Yeah,
Now, Joel's death, I don't think that's the problem with this game. I
definitely
actually
not. I
quite like
thought it
his
was
death.
so well done.
I don't think
Yeah.
it. I mean, it doesn't give Joel as a character the send off you would want him to get because, from what we've seen of Joel, he's this, badass guy who's taken down an army of, fireflies in the last game.
Hmm.
But we get to see him die in a very human way. So what happens is because they kill him off so early, no one was really expecting it,
Yeah.
which makes it very relatable to anyone who's had someone die in real life. It's never something you expect. It's always too
Right.
sudden and it always happens quickly. Joel died very quickly in the game too. It wasn't like, all right, Joel's getting killed and now we're Ellie for 3 hours on her way to save him. It was nope, Joel's getting
Right.
killed. We're Ellie for like 10 minutes maybe. And then
Yeah.
Joel finally gets killed. So it's very much something where it's like, fuck, 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 wait, no, stop. Just stop, everyone, calm down. We
Yeah.
need to
Slow
just,
down. Let's talk this through.
everything's going too fast. Uh,
Yeah.
it's that thing that you get when someone, in real life dies, where it's like, hold up, everything's just going too fast. Can we take a minute?
Yeah.
So I think his death was handled very well. But all of the consequences of his death are a bit weird. They sit weird with me. But what do you want to say about his death?
I thought it was done really well. I will say, so in one of the trailers they released, they showed Joel at a later part in the game. Like, he grabs Ellie and he says, "You really think I'd let you do this on your own?" And that was Jesse in the game, and they
I know.
swapped Joel in for him in the trailer. So when I was playing it, Abby blows off his knee with a shotgun, and then she hits him in the head with a golf club, and then it cuts to Ellie and Dina, I think. And when I saw that, I was like, well, okay, hang on, wait a minute. I know for a fact he's going to show up in the game standing on two legs at some point. Naughty Dog, you really, like, he's just going to be fine after that. Come on, I know it's a video game, but and then they pulled the rug out from under me.
You know,
So that was, I don't know.
yeah, that oh man, Dave, I wasn't even gonna talk about that, but that just it's misleading marketing. Like I
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm a little bit conflicted. Like on the one hand, I don't like it, but on the other hand, it made me think that, oh, maybe he does have a chance in this moment. I didn't think he was going to live through the entire game. Just even going into it, I had no spoilers. I didn't see the leaks, but I did think that he would die by the end. I didn't think he'd die in the beginning.
yeah, well, here's the thing. When the part where it shows Ellie. I'm trying to remember and describe the scene as best as I can. Ellie jumps down off of like a little ledge, and then that would be sort of the part where Joel grabs her, pulls her to the side, and says, "You don't think I'd let you do this on your own, did you?"
Right.
What I thought that was going to be, I thought it was going to be Tommy, but Ellie, in her grief, still was going to sort of like hallucinate it
Oh,
was Joel.
yeah.
And just because like a family resemblance type of thing maybe between them because they are brothers. But no,
Right.
why did it have to be the guy I don't care about?
Man, see,
See, that's just poor writing on Naughty Dog's part.
I really liked Jesse, but only in one scene. The scene right before he gets killed. I like he was talking to Dina, he was talking to Ellie, and I was like, oh man, I really like this guy. And then he gets shot in the head immediately, and I'm like, wow, that I don't know. I don't think he like people say they thought Joel's death was unceremonious. I thought Jesse's death was worse.
I don't think Jesse's was that bad because we didn't have a game building up with him. So like he was very much still fodder when they killed him, in my opinion at
Yeah,
least. Like look at looking at him, I can't think of anything big that he did in the game really, other than show up out of nowhere in Washington.
he
Just
also
oh hey, I
impregnated
found you
Dina,
guys. I mean, yeah, he impregnated Dina.
so good for him, I
Where,
suppose.
where do you stand on Dina? Because a
I
lot
love Dina.
she's divisive among the
I
Last
know.
of
I
Us
I
fan base.
see a lot of people saying she's boring, she's stupid. I love her. Maybe it's because I like the actress that plays her, and I like the woman that did her face model.
Who's
She's
the
actually got a YouTube channel. Her
who's
name
the
is Casina Caradonna.
yeah?
She looks exactly, which I mean, of course, she looks exactly like her because she's her face model. But yeah, I don't know. I like Dina. I thought her and Ellie were cute together.
I think they had some good moments together. Looking back at it, I don't dislike Dina as much as I thought I did. I think at worst she was just kind of bland and just sort of shoved in to be Ellie's girlfriend and be sort of a plot point at some point in the story.
Hmm.
But I don't hate her oddly enough. I mean Jesse I could comfortably say I dislike just because he did nothing really.
Yeah.
But no, Dina was okay. I mean, okay. I'm trying to think back, and I lost the thought. Never mind. Okay, so Ellie goes to get revenge. She kills all of Abby's friends.
Yeah.
And then Abby goes and confronts her in the theater, shoots Jesse in the head, shoots Tommy in the head. Tommy survives somehow. That's
It happens.
that made no sense to me. Like he should at least be, a little brain dead.
I mean,
Uh,
he's got a limp.
he's got a limp, but
That's
that's from being
probably some
shot with the arrow.
neurological thing.
Nah, because the kid shot him
Oh,
in
he
the
did
leg
shoot
with
him
an
in
arrow.
the leg, didn't
He
he?
took an arrow to the knee. Skyrim joke.
Yeah, he did.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't die though.
I I am glad he didn't die either, or as well. Just I don't know. Tommy and Joel both dying would have really upset me because like by the end I'm
Yeah,
like, Tommy, you gotta just like you're the only remnant of the last game, you know?
yeah. I mean Ellie too.
Yeah, but like, what are they gonna have? What are they gonna have? Only Ellie be the remnant of an actually good game?
Hey now, this game's also great.
I that's a strong word, Dave. That's a strong word. So, uh, Abby goes to confront Ellie at the theater. She shoots Jesse in the head, shoots Tommy in the head. They're both unconscious. Ellie and Abby. Oh wait, no. Then it goes to a flashback for Abby, right?
Yes, that's when you
And then you
first
spend
start playing as Abby.
and then you spend the
Yeah,
amount of time that you would put into another separate game into Abby.
yeah, yep.
And it's just, this
That
is
was
what
a
made me
big
so
surprise
mad.
for me. I
Because
love it though.
right as the game should have been winding down to a nice halt,
Nope.
fucking, alright, here's a second campaign with a character you don't like.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I hated Abby all the way up until that moment. And then after playing her whole sequence, I loved Abby. And that's why that fight between Ellie and Abby at the end is so powerful because the whole time it's making you hit the buttons. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I just I just didn't want them to fight. I didn't want Ellie to kill Abby. I wanted them both to just give it up,
Nah,
which
fuck
is
that.
ultimately what
I,
happens.
fuck that, I don't like Abby. And she has weird tits.
I love Abby.
Her fucking.
And yeah, I mean,
She has a bigger
she
chest
devoted
than
her
me, Dave.
entire life. She devoted her entire life from the time she was like 14 to 19 or 20, however old she is in the game,
That's a
to
short
just
entire life,
working
Dave.
out.
That's a very short entire life.
Okay, but she literally just worked out all day, every day, with her entire life goal was murder Joel because he killed her dad. And I get that.
I don't, though. Because, okay, so, Joel. Was he introduced to every Firefly in the first game? Like, how did she know Joel specifically was the one that killed her father? Like, you know,
I don't remember how, but it's definitely explained in the game.
because yeah, I should probably look back and see what happened
You
because that
should
was
play it, is what you should do.
I should play it, but that
Because
would require me getting a PS4 right now, and well, since the PlayStation
you're right.
5's coming out and they are going to
Yep,
remaster the game because
for
money,
sure.
might as well wait. But
Yeah,
that was a
that's
big
fair.
thing. Like, how does Abby know Joel's full name and what he looks like? Just
It was explained in the game, but I don't exactly remember how.
see, I feel
But
like
I
that should
don't.
have been a bigger part, though.
She knew his name. I don't think she knew what he looked like, but
Well,
he was basically like a legend among the remaining Fireflies, like a Baba Yaga kind of a John Wick type character. That's like this madman just slaughtered everyone we knew, and you know she followed those rumors, and for years she had nothing, and then I think Owen might have been Owen came over and was like, "Hey, we got this information." Because he found out they were living in Jackson.
yeah, but like, okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm being nitpicky here. I probably am, but nah, fuck that. I'm right.
No.
So when they kill Joel, all right. So the whole Washington crew and Joel and Tommy end up at the one like mansion or whatever, and Tommy and Joel are like, hey. I'm Tommy, and this is my brother. And Joel's like, hey, I'm Joel. And then they're like, oh, nice to meet you, Joel Miller, TlOU. And it's like, what if his name was something else? What if he was like Joel Larson? You know,
Well, Abby Abby knew that was Joel.
how though? How? Why? There could be Joel's not like a rare name. Like it's kind of, isn't it like a Jewish kind of a Jewish Bible name?
I don't know. Ask Dina. She's Jewish.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh,
You didn't see that part where they're in the synagogue and they have a whole conversation?
I remember that, but I thought it was a church, and I thought they were just talking about religion, like in general. Like I didn't take it
Now they,
as her being
if
one
you go in
specific
this
thing.
one, there's this one room where you find the Torah, and Dina explains it all to her.
Ah. But anyway, I'm not letting that go. How'd she know it's not like? Because she really just shot a man without confirming his last name.
She knew exactly who he was.
How did she see his face at some point?
I don't know, maybe.
See, this might be a plot. I think I might be onto something, Dave. I think I might be onto something.
I think it's quite nitpicky, and I don't think any other video games get held up to the same standard that this game is being held up to.
Because they had. So, let's go back to 2013. You had The Last of Us, and you had GTA 5. Both really heavy hitters, both selling high
Wow.
amounts of
They came out the
you know,
same year?
yeah, they did. No, it was crazy because
That's
everyone was like, "All right,
insane.
what's going to be game of the year, The Last of Us or GTA 5?" I remember arguing with my friends so many times over this. They were like, "Oh, GTA 5 because it's Grand Theft Auto." And I'm like, "Nah, The Last of
Wow.
Us because it's actually a way more complex and better story." But then again, it is
Yeah, one of the
Grand
best
Theft
games
Auto
ever
with
made.
yeah, but then again, it is Grand Theft Auto, and it has a legacy of you know,
Yeah, but
popular
that shouldn't
games
get
and
you
good
Game of the
games.
Year. Call of Duty has that, and those games are all trash.
When's the last time COD got Game of the Year? Like
I
Black
don't
Ops
know.
1
Probably
maybe.
Modern Warfare 2. Maybe. I don't
Uh,
like Call of Duty at all, if
uh,
you couldn't tell from my previous statement.
yeah. But anyway, we almost just had the same fight that I had 7 years ago in 2013, where you're like, you can't just give it to Grand Theft Auto because it's Grand Theft Auto. That's the exact same argument I was making. But anyway, a Game of the Year game that beat Grand Theft Auto 5. A GTA is a juggernaut of a franchise in terms of video
But it's
games.
also kind of a shitty game.
We're not in 2013 it was way
You
better.
want to talk about a stupid story? Grand
Okay,
Theft Auto.
okay, well I know that you haven't experienced the story and you know that I haven't experienced the story either because I just fuck around.
Right.
But
So how can you compare a game with a great story with maybe a couple issues here? No, definitely a couple issues here and there for The Last of Us 2, to a game that has a trash story so bad that you won't even play the story in Grand Theft Auto
well that's not why I won't play the story because there's other
because
Grand
the
Theft
missions aren't
Autos.
fun.
I mean, depends on the mission. If we're talking GTA Online, all of the custom races that you could do and stuff, those are very fun to do, especially with friends, because it's
Yeah,
like
but
it's
they're
like a
pay to
party
win.
game. No, not pay to win, because you could
No?
no, because with the custom races, you could you could get pretty much any like supercar you want depending on the race. I mean, granted, your friends could have a custom supercar that's just way better
Hmm.
because they actually put time into the game, but still, you're not pigeon-held too much.
Pigeonholed.
Pigeon-held.
Is it pigeonholed like you're holding something, or pigeonholed like a hole, like we're holed up somewhere? HOLED.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't either. Hmm. Let us know in the comments if you know.
Okay, but Last of Us 2. We're going back. I don't think the game works story wise because it forces you to spend literally 13 hours with a character you had no investment in, and it doesn't even do a good job of making you invested in the character. Because to be honest, I still wanted Abby dead after her campaign. I didn't care that Owen died and her pregnant friend got shot. It's just,
Stabbed in the neck.
oh yeah, stabbed in the neck. Yeah. And whatever. A death is a
See,
death. Who
that's
cares?
that's just a personal difference, I guess, because I think that's what makes the game work. I
I think
love Abby by the end of playing her, and I think that that's the whole reason that that fight at the end is so powerful. Because if I still hated her, I'd be like, yeah, let's just do it, let's kill her. But I didn't want to. The whole time I wanted Ellie to just stop. I didn't want to hit that square button.
but consider this, Dave. I have an idea. Consider the following.
Sure.
In the theater, Jesse dies. Tommy gets shot in the head. Instead of cutting back to Abby's past, both Abby and Ellie fight right then and there. You play as Ellie against Abby. Abby beats the shit out of you, almost kills you. Dina comes to save you. Abby beats the shit out of her and then puts the knife to her neck. And then the kid's like, hey, come on, stop, Abby. Let's just leave. And Abby's like, fine, but I better not see you two again.
Hmm.
Have the game end somewhere like that, or maybe do the time skip as well, where you have Ellie go back and try and kill her again. But after the game could have done all of that, skipped Abby's portion of the game entirely, and then just had Abby and Ellie end up going their separate ways from California after Abby and the kid were like slaves or whatever. And then release Abby's backstory as a DLC. That would have been way better, and
No,
that would have set up for a third game, possibly for Abby being the main character in the third game. Because what are we
they
gonna
can
do
still
now?
do that.
Not really. Ellie's
Abby
still
and Lev
alive.
in
Ellie's still
California.
alive. Ellie's still alive, and Ellie, what is
Here's
she gonna do? Have a bad life in the third game? What are we expecting from
here's
her?
what. No, she's gonna go back to Jackson. She's gonna try to rebuild her life, get back with Dina. What I would do if I was making the third game, I probably just wouldn't make a third game. But if I had to, I would probably cut between Abby and Lev on like some intense, violent journey through California, or maybe even take it down to Mexico. Who knows? And then Ellie trying to rebuild her life, living a boring life in Jackson, and trying to cope with that, still struggling from PTSD, and just keep cutting back and forth between them.
Hmm.
I don't know how well that would work, but that's what I would do, at least at the moment.
See, I think one of their characters really had to die off in this game because now we're at a very weird crossroads where what are we going to do in the third game? Are we going to have it all exclusively Ellie, or are we going to have it Abby, which is, a character we spent now 13 hours or so with? And it's
I
just,
don't think they should make a third game, honestly. I don't think it's necessary.
I mean, I think they should because, popular franchise. Here's the thing. I don't think there's going to be much hype for a third game. First of all, because we know it's going to be 7 more years before they drop a third game.
Yeah, it'll be the end of the PS5's life cycle. We'll be talking about
Oh,
PS6 when it comes out.
those fuckwads, dude.
That's
Like,
how they do it.
if it's 7 more years, I just turned 23 like a week and a half ago. I'm gonna be
Oh,
30
man, why'd
when
you
the
have to say that? I'm 28.
I'm gonna be 30,
Make me
Dave.
feel so old. I'm gonna be
I'm
30 in 2 years.
Dave. Do you know what
Ugh.
that means? Let's see. 2013. I was 15 or 16 in 2013. This game is gonna span fucking like 15 years of my life. This franchise. if they drop one in 7 years. You know what? Fuck it. End the franchise. We're done. I don't want to feel
That's what I
old.
say. I don't think it needs a third one. I mean, they're already making the HBO show.
There's an HBO show?
Yeah, you didn't know about that? Oh yeah, they're making an HBO show. It's gonna have Joel, Ellie. Um, Neil Druckmann is making it, so I'm happy about that because he. I mean, all the stuff people say about him, whatever. I don't care. I like the guy, and he created the characters, so I'm glad he's involved.
That's neat. I mean, are they going to have? I don't think they can actually. I was gonna say, are they going to have the actors who portrayed Ellie and Joel in the game? Yeah,
No,
I didn't think they could because the
Troy
girl
Baker
grew up.
looks nothing like Joel. He would not make a good live action Joel.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't remember too much of what he looks like. I'm just thinking because remember Beyond Two Souls?
Yeah, Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe.
Well, they made those characters look exactly like the actors that played them. So I
Yeah,
assumed Last of Us. I really haven't seen too much behind the scenes with the mocap to know what the actors look like. I did see the one thing.
Troy Baker. Troy Baker looks like a. I don't know how old he is, but he looks like he's in his late 30s. I think he's in his mid 40s though, and he's got like a swoopy dyed blonde hair all the time. He's just so clean looking. He looks nothing like Joel.
Yeah, I just remember the one clip Sony released. Like it was way back when, after the first game, they released the behind the scenes of him like singing opera. Well, like
Yes,
you remember
the alternate ending. I love that so much.
that?
They didn't even tell him they were going to do that. They told the other actors, this is what we're going to do. And then they told him, all right, we're trying something different. Whatever happens, just roll with it. And that's what came out. It's so good.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they had left that in the game as like, once you beat it, you can also have this be the actual ending. I think that would have been really fun.
What do you think is the best alternate ending to a game?
I don't know. I don't really know many.
As I was asking that question, I was like, I only know of like two alternate endings. So I
Which
wasn't
one?
even in. So let's see. I hmm. I'm now questioning whether or not they're alternate endings, but I'm thinking of Black Ops 2 and how Avenged Sevenfold shows up, like at the end of the
Who that?
campaign.
Oh, I know my favorite alternate ending, but Avenged Sevenfold really shows up.
In Black Ops 2, they had them do a song just for the game, I think.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
and they
awesome.
animate them in to the game, so it's like animated Avenged Sevenfold, just doing
Nice.
their metal shit.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I realized though what my favorite alternate ending is. It is the Silent Hill 3 dog ending. Do you know about that?
Uh, Remind me.
So after I don't, you have to do some like specific certain steps to get to this actual ending. Um, you end up going into this like control room basically, and there's monitors and panels, and there's this little, I think it's a Shiba Inu, just standing on a stool, and he's operating the control panels, and then he like looks at you and starts talking to you, and he was the one operating everything going on in the game. This little cute dog. I'm not doing it justice. You gotta watch it. I'll send it to you on YouTube.
I'm thinking, so Silent Hill, Resident Evil. I used to not like Resident Evil very much just because the controls were so
Hmm.
they're tank controls. I don't really understand them even to this day. But the rebooted
Yeah,
Resident Evil games, Res Evil 2 that came out last year and then Res
yeah,
Evil 3
two
that
and
came out
three.
this year.
Hmm.
They're so fucking good. And I'm so glad that I can enjoy this franchise now because there's there's a very deep lore to Resident Evil that I'm just starting
Yeah,
to
it's real
uncover, and it's
weird.
just
When I was a kid, I just thought it was a zombie game. It's very much not just a zombie game.
no, it's like hey, there's this corporation and it's causing zombies and then mutations, and it's an
Yeah,
anti-capitalism game. It's
is
a
it?
warning against capitalism.
Nice. That
Unregulated
makes sense.
This unregulated company creates zombies and infects a whole city, and then I don't know, but
I don't like playing Resident Evil, even the remakes, but I love watching people play them.
yeah, I can understand that.
Honestly, you know what the two biggest reasons I don't like playing them are? I can't get headshots because every time I aim at someone's head, they'll just go like,
Yeah,
and I'm like, come on, just stand still for 2 seconds. That and it's such a hard puzzle game that it makes me feel like an idiot. Most video games make me feel very stupid though, so maybe I'm just a dum dum.
yeah. Puzzle games are weird because
Yeah, and Resident Evil are straight up puzzle games.
yeah, no, dead ass. You gotta the I watched Let's Plays of Resident Evil 2 and Res Evil 3, the new ones, and the people knew what to do already. Like they went into the game knowing
Yeah.
from being a kid or whatever, and having played the
Hmm.
previous games. That's how I know I'm not that good at them because I have to stop and look things up online. Like, okay, where's
Yeah,
this?
me too.
And where's this? And where's this? Also, I don't know the maps very well, so I get lost easily.
Yeah, same. I just find it so much more fun to watch people play those games than I do to play them. The graphics are phenomenal.
Graphics are pretty good. So, let's see. What's the big like monster from Resident Evil 3? I'm trying to remember his name.
The Tyrant. No, he might.
I think it's Tyrant.
I
Yeah.
think the Tyrant is from 2.
No, Mr. X is from
No,
3.
Mr. Yeah, Mr. X. That's right. The Tyrant is from 3.
Which one of those two villains do you think is better?
Well, Mr. X obviously has a better fashion sense with his trench coat and his hat.
Did you know if
I
you
really
shoot off his
respect
hat, he
his
gets
choices.
like angry and runs faster at you? I think.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no. If you look up Resident Evil 2, you could find people shooting off his hat, and then he gets like really fucking like, oh, you really want to do this? Like he
That's
puffs up a
awesome. I
bit.
mean, I don't blame him. I would do the same if somebody shot my hat off.
Yeah.
But I do like the Tyrant's like garbage bag rap that he's got going on.
Yeah. Who?
I'm in love with Jill Valentine though.
Yeah. Jill or Claire? Which one?
Jill,
Same. Same.
100%.
Leon or Carlos? Makeout sesh. Which one? Leon. He doesn't have
Carlos.
facial hair.
Mm,
The stubble would get me for some
yeah,
reason. It'd be like kissing my
that's fair.
father.
That's fair. But yeah, I love Jill Valentine so much.
Yeah. I mean,
She's also modeled on a real woman,
ooh, which one?
Sasha Zoltova.
Ooh. You know what's weird? The Resident Evil movies, like as much as I enjoy them, uh
They're bad.
I enjoy them, Dave. I like them kind of. They're
I like them too, but that doesn't mean they're good.
no, they're not good.
They're
But
fun and campy and bad.
yeah, yeah. It's I'm trying to think of it. It could be kind of like remember that movie Sucker Punch that came out? Like that's
I
a
love that
throwback.
movie.
It feels like that kind of where it's
I
like this slow
love that
motion
movie.
actiony kind of thing.
Um,
Hey, is the
yeah.
actress in that? Is she wearing a wig? I feel like that's such a like platinum blonde look.
I don't know. She might be. She has not done much since then. Although, if I'm not mistaken, I think she played Violet in the Series of Unfortunate Events movie with
I thought
Jim
you were gonna
Carrey.
say Violet in The Incredibles. I'm like, Dave, that movie,
No.
those movies made millions of dollars. You can't say she hasn't done much.
No. Yeah, I think she was in that movie, which would have been before Sucker Punch.
You know, I have a real like niche love for comic book movies that you don't realize are comic book movies. So, for example, V for Vendetta, that's a DC comic.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie.
Yep.
Also, we're about to have a V for Vendetta type revolution up in this country at some point.
I hope so.
Are you just gonna pull out every movie?
Everyone I have.
Yeah. Hold on, let me just pull out up to. You know what I really loved? Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. That Disney movie from the 80s.
Oh, yep. No. Can you imagine?
If you had that, Dave, holy fuck, I'm coming to your house.
I actually have this magical DVD case or Blu-ray case, I guess, that whatever I imagine, I can pull out from it.
Yeah.
Saves a lot of money on movies.
I don't understand people that dislike Blu-rays and physical media at the moment because my thought process is streaming might not always be available. There are times when you have internet outages and whatnot,
Hmm.
as well as sometimes Netflix takes things off of the service,
Yeah.
willy nilly. So why wouldn't you just want the DVDs to watch them yourself whenever you want?
Yeah, I don't get it. That's like the PS5 all digital edition. I keep seeing people say, "Oh man, I'm thinking about getting that one so I can save some money." And I'm like, first of all, it's only going to be $50 less. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
So that's one video game. That's less money than one video game.
Yep.
And even if you download all your games, it's so much more worth it to have the option. If you own any physical media, you can use it on there. But if you get the digital, you're stuck.
Yeah, you have to stream and you have to I mean, in the end, I think we're gonna lose physical media at some point. But I
I
don't know.
hope not.
I hope not too, but like it is more efficient to stream. That's one thing I cannot argue. Just having something right there on the internet and not having to worry about physical space to put something.
Sure. But there's a lot of people in the country who don't have good enough internet to stream or to download something quicker than 2 days.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I was on YouTube the other night and I found the I w- I should have set up something so I could show you, so I could screen share with you. But there's this restaurant in Las Vegas called the Heart Attack Grill, and the owner is a fucking psychopath, I think. Because
Sounds like it.
here's the gimmick of the restaurant. It's in Las Vegas, so it's whatnot. The restaurant is extremely unhealthy shit. So it'll be like two fucking burger patties, like quarter pounder burger patties, a dick ton of cheese on funnel cake instead of regular buns, and with
Oh,
bacon.
God.
And it's like, you know,
That sounds awful.
and like morbidly obese people go there to eat. And they have a vegan menu. I looked this up online. They have a vegan menu. You want to know what their vegan menu is?
What?
Lucky Strike cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah, they're the only place in Las Vegas that sells Lucky Strike
Oh
cigarettes.
my god, that's insane.
But
Do you have to sign a waiver when you go in there?
that's it, Dave. You do. You do. Because their fucking food is literally deadly amounts of fucking cholesterol. And, oh. I mean, they have sweet tea. I'm sure they fucking put. I'm sure their sweet tea is like syrup, really. Have you ever made your own tea?
Yeah.
And then the sugar
Oh
sinks to the
god.
bottom, and when you get to the bottom, it's kind of syrupy tea.
Hmm.
It's probably like that, but with all of it.
Just
But
maple syrup in a glass that they call tea.
yeah, yeah, sounds good. Fucking, they have. I'm sure they have fucking hot dogs. They got the glizzies, son. They got the glizzies. But I'm sure they got like 18-inch hot dogs too at that fucking place. They have the worst fucking food for you, Dave. Like, legitimately, I'm looking at this as a skinny guy going who likes to indulge every now and again, and I'm like, that's not even.
Hmm.
I don't think that's even good on a one-time occasion, because that's like 3 days worth of calories in one meal.
Yeah, that's there's no good way of putting that.
But anyway, here's the thing. The gimmick is, it's the heart attack grill. So you have all the nurses dressed up as skimpy nurses, and and you give like overly large portions. And the manager, or the boss, or the owner, or whatever he is, he wears like doctors, like MD scrubs, and walks around, and he looks like a doctor. That's the crazy part. Like, he's bald, and he prescribes food as medicine to people. He's like, oh hey,
Oh
uh,
god.
he has a little fucking stethoscope that he like puts on
Yeah.
people's hearts, and boop 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 boop. Ah, someone's heart is beating a little too healthy. Have a fucking triple bacon cheeseburger.
Wow. So he's literally killing people.
No, but he says that he's like, I was a nutritionist because he was a nutritionist before he did this restaurant thing. I was nutritionist, and none of my patients ever took my advice, and they all just sort of kept. They either died or they just kept going, and they're near death anyway. So when I opened up this restaurant, I'm doing this. My message. He doesn't say what his message is, but he just says, the message of this place is just, oh yeah, this food will kill you, and I'll tell you it, and then I'll sell it to you. But my message, maybe I'll change someone. My message, he doesn't, he's like the Democrats. He just sort of says, he keeps talking, and he's so evil, but he's not, because he's admitting to what he's doing. He's like, yeah, I sell food that will kill
Right.
you. This food is
Yeah.
terrible for you. You will die if you eat it enough. And then he talks about a guy had a heart attack in his restaurant, and he's like, yeah, it was good for business because everyone sees the flashing lights outside with the doctor aesthetics that we have in the fucking restaurant, and it's all good
Hmm.
for business. It,
And the place is true to its name.
Dave,
You
I'm
can't
gonna get
sue him
this
for
on the next
false
podcast.
advertising.
I'm gonna figure out how to fucking. There was an infomercial I saw for their fucking restaurant. I watched like 3 minutes of it, thinking, all right, it's this one special commercial, so they made it long or whatever, and it's like a joke. Dave, I
Hmm.
looked up. The commercial was 30 minutes long. It was meant for fucking television. Like, you remember back in the day when they would play Girls Gone Wild, and here's people
Of
showing out,
course.
woo! And,
That was the best part of 3 a.m. TV
bruh, I was like 9
for
at
a
the time. That
7-year-old.
was fucking porn. Straight up porn.
Yeah.
Like, even though it was blurred out, they would show girls making out still. Whew.
Yeah.
My
That
little
was
body was
before.
confused.
Yeah. That was before it was like on the internet looking at the real stuff.
You know what's well, just to close out the guy's a fucking sociopath. Yet
Sounds like it.
he's kind of charming because he owns up to everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I saw him talking to an interviewer, and the interviewer's like, the interviewer's trying to get a gotcha out of him, where it's like, your food, it causes heart disease, right? And the guy's like, yeah, yeah, no, it causes heart. And he's taking the wind out of the interviewer's sails.
Yeah. I mean, he's not forcing the people to eat it. There's a market for it.
Dave, next podcast, I'm gonna figure out how to screen share with the audience and with you. We're gonna have this fucking. You need to see this and experience what I experienced, Dave.
But the entire infomercial.
Yes. Not the entire info. I didn't fucking watch. I mean, this one like it's like maybe 6 minutes, I think, of the interviewer talking to the boss and talking about the restaurant. But it's fucking. He's weird. He's a weird guy.
Can we interview him?
Fucking maybe. I mean, maybe.
Have him on as a guest.
Just. I feel like he's a Trump kind of character though, where he's like, he feels a bit highly of himself, and like we have to stroke him off a little bit to get him on. Just like, oh my god, I admire so much what you're doing. Just the message behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Las Vegas:
Yeah.
did you know it's like the suicide capital of America?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that because people gamble their life savings away and then kill themselves?
I mean, possibly. I can't confirm. I just heard. I was listening to Penn Jillette. You know Penn Jillette, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And you know Opie and Anthony, right? The old radio show. Well, he was on Opie and Anthony, and he was talking about it. And he would talk about how he had this friend, or he met this guy, who worked at a gun shop, a firing range. And in Las Vegas, what you could do is you could just go there and rent a gun, and then just go shoot. There's no real rules or whatever. So what would happen is the guy would rent out a gun to someone, they'd go shoot, and he'd hear, bang, bang, bang. Quiet. Guy shot himself.
Wow.
And then...
Now, see, that's kind of disrespectful to the firing range, because then they gotta go clean up. That's bad for business.
Well, look, if you don't have much money, if you've lost a good amount at the tables and you have $5 to rent a gun,
go jump off a bridge. It's free.
It's Las Vegas. They don't have bodies of water. It's a fucking desert.
Yeah, that's fair. Go jump off a casino.
They lock the doors to the rooftop.
That's not what The Hangover taught me. That fantastic documentary.
I haven't seen The Hangover Part 2 or Part 3.
Part 2 is okay. Not as good as the first. I haven't seen 3.
I feel like those movies would have been better if they put Jack Black in there.
Like in addition to the group or instead of someone?
I don't know, just force. Jack Black is very... So, in Hollywood, there's a lot of underutilized talent. I think we could agree. We have Don Cheadle.
Sure.
Amazing War Machine. We have...
Not the original War Machine, if you remember.
Oh no, that dude got replaced.
Real fast.
Dude got replaced. Who else? Underutilized. We got... I want to say Channing Tatum. I don't think he's been in much recently. Like, everyone knows him, but no one knows what he's doing at the moment.
Yeah. The last thing I remember him being in was Foxcatcher. That was probably like 4 years ago now.
Yep. Alright, so we'll add him to the list. And then you got Jack Black. What has he been doing?
Playing video games on YouTube.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Jablinski Games. You haven't seen his channel?
Dave, are you about to expose me?
Him and Tony Hawk got together and played the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake on YouTube.
Dave.
And they went to a skate park. It's awesome, dude. You gotta check it out. It's called Jablinski Games.
Fuck me, Dave. When did this happen?
Like a year ago, maybe more.
Why?
I just found it because of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater a couple months ago.
We'll get back to Tony Hawk, but Jack Black. What the?
Yeah, man.
See,
He's like a full-on YouTuber now.
I heard he was doing a second Tenacious D movie, which I was looking forward to because I would love that.
Yeah, that first one is killer.
It was killer. Also, I want to see Tenacious D when they go on tour because they're pretty fucking fun.
Yeah.
You know what? Tenacious D is a band. They feel like how do I put this? If Tenacious D is a band, or if they were a movie, they would be the live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
I'm gonna need you to explain what you mean there.
They feel there's a certain aesthetic to them as a band that I feel crosses over somehow into the live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh no, it's a good thing. You know,
'Cause I like those movies.
I enjoy those movies too. You see,
They
that's
are a
kind of
little
like,
janky in some parts.
you know what? We're gonna have to come back to this. I'm gonna have to write an essay down and get my thoughts straight on how to explain my feeling.
We're also gonna need to talk about, uh, um, not Zack Snyder, James Gunn. His original plan for those Scooby-Doo movies, or at least the first one, it was gonna be awesome. It was basically gonna be like an R-rated comedy
He did the Scooby-Doo movie.
where, like, yeah,
How old is
but
James
the
Gunn?
studio, I don't know,
Here's the
old
thing.
at this point.
Here's the thing. James Gunn came and did Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was like, oh, this fresh new face in Hollywood, this new director.
Oh,
Nah, apparently he's
so
been around
so
a
you
while.
never saw Slither?
Slither? Oh no, I saw that sci-fi movie with like the alien that like it's a sci-fi movie, right?
Is it Slither or Teeth? Which one did James Gunn do?
Gosh golly, Dave, I'm gonna have to find this out.
Let me look it up real quick.
Remember the movie Splice? I think it was.
Yeah, I actually just watched a YouTube video about that movie.
That movie was
Strange.
it was strange, but I'm glad that there was some hot fucking the what are those things called? They're not aliens, but they're not humans. Homunculus?
Mutation? Homunculus?
Have you heard it?
I know that word, but I don't
It's
know
like
what
this
it
weird.
means.
I've heard that too. I don't know. Some weird humanoid creature. There's some hot ass weird humanoid sex. There's some mutant sex in it.
There is. I don't know if I'd call it hot.
I mean, the way the thing uses it, she or he, whatever, it. I mean,
I think it's a she.
no, I think I watched a YouTube video where it's like it's either or depending on the situation. If it feels threatened, it's now a
Oh,
man, and then it gets buffed
wait,
to
no.
like sort of more.
That's how the movie ends. It it has sex with, I think, both the man and the woman at some point throughout the movie. But by doing whichever one it did at the end, it changed its own sex and becomes a male homunculus, I guess, if that's what we're calling it.
I need
A homunculus, if you will.
yeah, a humongous. Remember that guy from like 2014?
No.
Oh, it was the peak of anti-SJW stuff going on, and there was this feminist yelling at this guy. This like he looked like a construction worker maybe, or just like this big, fucking large guy. And he said something like he made a joke that would be like kind of like, you know, maybe I should maybe I should take my wife to a place she's never been, like the kitchen. Ah, he made some like
Wait, but wouldn't that be almost more feminist because she's never been there?
I don't. I'm I'm remembering this wrong, Dave. It's like 6 years old. I'm certain that I am embellishing the story. But she's like, "How
Sure,
dare
sure.
you? What is your name, sir?" And she gets him on video. And she's like, "What is your name?" And he's like, "Oh, it's Hugh. Hugh what? Hugh Mungus."
Humongous.
You don't remember that, Dave?
No, that's kind of awesome though.
You know what's weird? All the anti SJWs that were like on YouTube back in 2012 and through 20 fucking 16, they're now fucking like radical left. Like now we're like,
Really?
yeah.
Who?
So
I still
not
see
Ben
a whole bunch
Shapiro,
of
not Ben Shapiro.
no.
I should clarify.
Yeah,
Not Ben Shapiro. He's still in the same spot.
I mean he talks so fast. I don't know what he's saying half the time.
But I mean, the Amazing Atheist. Do you know him?
I know the name.
Yeah, he's a
I've never seen
YouTuber.
one of his videos.
He's a YouTuber. He's a skeptic YouTuber. He's done a lot of videos on Christianity, politics, and he was anti SJW for a while. But now even he's like, I don't really fucking care. I just want people to have Medicare for all. Do you know
Nice.
Shoe on Head?
No.
Well, she was a similar boat. She used to be highly anti SJW, and now she's more like, hey, we should really get Bernie into the White House, people. Like,
Nice.
so it feels
I
like
mean
everyone's kind of evolved here. Even I was anti SJW at one point
they're
because they were
they're
annoying.
still out there though. Like the quartering, I think, is one that's super anti SJW. He just
Uh,
screams about nonsense. I think he was the one that made the video about the movie Parasite, and he was like screaming about how a Korean movie, is it Korean?
yeah, I think so,
I
maybe.
think it was Korean. Shouldn't be able to win an award in this country, and he was just going off, and it's like, dude, just shut up.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of those guys still around, but, you know, a lot of people have evolved out of that because now people are seeing actual issues. So, like, I don't give a shit about college kids trying to stop Ben Shapiro from speaking, really,
Yeah, I don't either.
because people are dying because they don't have health care.
Hmm.
So, a lot of people who are like, oh, the SJWs are coming for the free speech of the nation. It's like, I don't really care, because, like,
Yeah,
Trump just released, like, the military on U.S. citizens, and that's, like,
on peaceful
unconstitutional.
protesters. Yeah,
So,
literally, First Amendment. Which isn't that what all the gun nuts were supposed to have the guns for? To fight a tyrannical government infringing on people's rights, but now they're supporting it.
yeah,
Blows my mind.
yeah. I mean, I've seen a few that are taking principled stances with the protesters. So that's nice. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people who are like, yeah, these goddamn protesters and their violence by burning buildings, which you can't do
Yeah,
violence against a building.
that is my dad. It's so frustrating talking to him about this.
Yeah, well, my dad's nearly a trash panda. My dad's a black man, so I'm calling him a
Yeah,
coon. Essentially, he's almost there.
I hear what you're saying. Damn. Yeah, mine is a full on Trump cultist.
Mine's not that far. He's just so deep into not thinking the system can change and thinking that everyone protesting is a waste of time and that
Hmm.
just don't even try.
Yeah,
Good thing he and I don't
I
talk
think
though.
I think we got to fight for something better.
Yeah, I think we all need to fight for something better. I mean, That's sort of the human way. You're always just looking for something better, and that's not a bad thing, until it leads to uh, things like greed, where you hoard certain
Hmm.
things that affect others negatively because they then can't get certain things.
Like hoarding $100 billion while there are people who can't afford insulin.
Dave, he made $13 billion in one day during this economic depression that we are in.
Who, Bezos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark
He
Zuckerberg.
makes more money every second than some people make in a year.
Mark Zuckerberg is officially worth over $100 billion.
I
That
mean, he's
happened
a
during this
robot, so
pandemic.
does that count?
Yeah, that if there was any proof of lizard people, it is that dude.
Yes.
Have
You
you have
see
you
him
seen?
try to take a sip of water? Just touches his lips. Yep, that's enough. Because he's a robot. If it goes into him, it'll damage the circuitry.
Yeah. I'd say I don't like our economic system.
Same.
Anyway, I was gonna bring up Tony Hawk. Steve-O is friends with Tony Hawk, and they did a podcast together, and it was actually pretty good.
Really?
Did you know that Steve-O, when he was on drugs, he sounds like the funnest fucking person on drugs. When he was on drugs, he started an email list full of like just so many Hollywood execs, as well as Knoxville and all the jackass guys, and he put Tony Hawk in there, and he called it something like, I can't remember what he called it, but he essentially ended up started arguing with Tony Hawk and said, "You know what? You're not even rad, man. You're a poser. I'm radder than you."
Wow.
Just or it was something like along that lines where he got lippy with Tony Hawk, and Tony Hawk's like,
Yeah,
"Okay, dude, just you do your thing, bro."
that's wild. Tony
Steve
Hawk
O,
seems like such a chill dude.
yeah. You know what's weird? Skateboarding really doesn't seem like something you make money off of. Yet he's so
Yeah,
fucking rich, Dave. He's so rich.
I think that's mostly because of the video games and the sponsorships and stuff.
Probably. Probably.
But yeah, it is pretty wild that he's like a 50-year-old man who is still skateboarding. Like his whole life, he's been a professional skateboarder.
That's wild. And he's rich, Dave. That's the most important
Yeah,
part. That would be like me being the top fencer. Like skateboarding was really niche way back when. He's the one that really got it to where it is. But that would be
yeah.
like me becoming a fencer and becoming the top fencer, and now I'm worth $50 million or whatever. Like it's such a niche thing
I
to
mean,
make mainstream.
if you released fencing video games for 20 years, you might get there. I don't think they'd quite be as popular though.
I could release a fencing video game.
I'd play it. Make it VR. That'd do pretty well.
Not well
I
enough.
don't like VR, but it would
V-
work well.
VR is only VR is good for specific things. I don't think it works for whole games. I think it works better for just like party games, like the lightsaber like beat thing that people do.
Beat Saber?
Beat Saber, yes. But I don't think it works for things like, you could do Skyrim in VR or Outlast in VR, and I don't think those are suited for it well.
Yeah, I've heard Skyrim in VR makes people nauseous.
Well, I think most things in VR where you're required to. Here's the weird thing about VR: you need like a dedicated room in your house to play it. Like
Yeah,
usually you can't just do your living room because there's couches and sometimes a coffee table and there's like other shit in the vicinity. But I think VR is weird when it comes to games where you walk around because it gives you the feeling of using your real life legs, which you're not supposed to, because then you walk into a fucking wall.
Right.
But I just think stationary games with VR are better. Where like Beat Saber, you just sort of stand there and hit with your arms. There are certain shooter games that you could do with VR where you just sort of stand there.
I just don't like first person games in general. I will 10 times out of 10 I'll take a third person over first person.
Yeah, that's fair. So, what do
You
you
know,
think?
that's like Cyberpunk, real quick.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077. It's got, from what I hear, some of the most detailed character customization options of any game ever. And you see your character maybe 3 times throughout the whole game in mirrors because it's first person. Like, what's the point? If you're gonna let me customize the genitals on my character, I want to see them.
Yeah. You know, a game I think never got the credit it deserves for being a just terrific game. And I only bring this up because it just got a remaster or re-release. I'm not sure. Destroy All Humans is slept on
Mm,
hardcore.
yeah, I played that at my friend's house way back in the day when it came out on the GameCube, I think.
GameCube, damn, that's wild. I got it for
Yeah,
I think the original Xbox.
nice.
Speaking of which,
Yeah,
I am thinking of old games now, and you want to know my recent obsession in terms of video games?
yeah.
The Sonic franchise. So I used to not understand it at all. I thought the 2D games were kind of boring. Like I played them, but they were never that interesting. I did, however, I played Sonic Heroes as a kid, which is one of their 3D games. I played
Hmm.
Sonic Riders, which is like Sonic on like a hoverboard racing. And then yeah, I think those were my two big ones. And Shadow the Hedgehog I played. And I really
Shadow
like
had his own game.
Oh, it's divisive among the Sonic community. I mean, it's not that divisive. Everyone knows it's garbage because it really doesn't portray his character properly. But I enjoy it because I grew up playing it, so I still have a special place at my heart for it.
Nice.
The Sonic franchise is so much deeper than you would expect with the characters, and there's like an actual storyline that I didn't realize existed to it. There's things called Chaos Emeralds that Sonic gets, and then Sonic goes Super Saiyan,
Yeah.
and then
I remember Chaos Emeralds from the TV show.
which one?
I don't know. One of the Sonic shows.
The only
Maybe the
Sonic
one
show worth mentioning is Sonic X.
is that gotta go faster, faster, faster,
Gotta
faster,
go fast.
faster.
It's some that's like Bowling for Soup made that, right?
Did they?
Possibly. Bowling for Soup did the Phineas and Ferb theme song.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they Bowling for Soup. They had what 1985, and then they went on to make theme songs for cartoons,
Yeah, I
which
didn't know
is
that. That's kind of awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Kiro Bonito made the song Bug Snacks for the game Bug Snacks.
I don't remember the game.
It's coming out for PS5.
Ah,
It looks very strange. Very strange. But the theme song slaps.
the other day I got into a loop of listening to 2000s rock music of like multiple ranges. So I was
Hmm.
listening to Tattoo, and
Oh,
then
Tattoo. Wow.
Tattoo. How
That's a
hot?
throwback.
How hot is the music video for all the things she said?
That's
Because
literally the only reason I got that CD when I was a kid, because I saw it and I was like, yes.
yeah, it's like, oh, you women kissing, you're not supposed to do that. Ooh,
especially in
it's frowned
Russia,
upon
where
in
they
this
came from.
society. Oh, that's hot. That's dirty. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
But I went from tattoo to listening to Papa Roach. Papa Roach, Dave. You know they have
yeah.
more songs than Last Resort, right? Way more
I
songs
know
than
they
just
do,
Last Resort.
but I don't know them.
I know them because I used to be a big Papa Roach fan. Uh, I think I just grew out of them. It's not like oh they fucking sold out and I don't listen to them.
Yeah,
I think I just outgrew them. But I was listening to some of their old stuff that I used to listen to. Fuck, they're kind of a weird band. Like I don't want to say they're this great band, but they're definitely at least the guitarist is definitely very skilled at what he does. He's a technically skilled guitarist. And then remember Skillet?
hmm
I was listening to Skillet as well.
I
And then
can't
from
name a single song, but I do remember Skillet.
do you remember I need a hero to save me now? Yeah. Remember? No.
Think so. I think so.
Oh no, you'd probably remember like uh I I feel like a monster. I something like that.
Is that Gabby Hanna's song?
I wish I knew that reference.
Oh, she's a YouTuber. She's not worth looking into.
Are you sure? You mentioned
I mean,
her.
there's some comedic elements. I watch a lot of videos of people talking about her.
So is she like a controversial like figure where it's like she's not good, but like the people talking about her is interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's definitely gotten worse over the years. I've never watched her though, so I don't want to like slander her.
Do you know Tana Mongeau?
Unfortunately,
I haven't seen any of her videos. I just know people don't like her, and I kind of don't
she
really
married
like her.
Jake Paul for like a weekend.
I thought you were gonna say like just indefinitely. I was gonna be like, what the fuck, really?
Did you
That's
hear the FBI raided Jake Paul's house?
I heard that. Do we know what that was about?
I don't. I know they pulled a bunch of weapons out of the house, like a ton of rifles. So that might be something.
That's low key a fear I have, where like my house gets raided because like I have a few swords lying. Like I just like swords. I have a few swords. I have like a camp.
Yeah,
I have a Bowie knife somewhere, but like just I don't
I've
know.
got a few
I
swords
know
in
they're
here
all
too.
legal, but I don't want to be the guy that in the news the FBI raided Tre'von's house and he had a few weapons and they don't specify what the weapons were, so I could have had
Right.
grenades or I could have had fucking pistols or swords. So now it
I
just
think
looks
you
like I
have
was
to
about to do
do
terrorism.
I think you have to do some pretty major stuff to get your house raided by the FBI.
Or just be a Twitch streamer and have your fucking door kicked in because you're getting swatted.
Yeah, but that's not the FBI that shows up for a SWAT.
Still, you know,
But still, yeah, no,
getting
swatting's
swatted probably fucking sucks.
awful. I would imagine.
I would love to be a streamer, but like that's the only fear I have. I don't want to get my fucking door kicked in and have a gun pointed at me.
Yeah,
Or even just the small shit, like if someone fucking ordered a pizza to my house, it's like, bitch, I don't want to have to tell some. I don't even like asking for napkins
yeah.
from waitresses.
I mean, I would just pay for the pizza at that point and hope it didn't happen again, and then eat the pizza
Yeah,
because I couldn't tell the guy like, oh, I didn't know.
yeah.
I'd feel so bad. Now I really want pizza though. I haven't had that in a long time.
I haven't had that in a long time either. However, I have had a lot of other food. I'm sure I've gained like 3 or 4 pounds from quarantine.
That's not much.
That's not much. I'm doing okay, but like on my slender figure, you know, you don't you don't hide it well, I guess. Or it's
hmm
noticeable at least.
Well, mine's been noticeable my whole life.
You remember the band Reliant K?
I know the name, but I don't know anything off the top of my head.
I only know one song of theirs, and it's very it's one of their niche songs. So the reason why, whenever I listen to 2000s rock, there's this one video game soundtrack I go to, MX Unleashed. Do you know that game?
I don't
It's a
think so.
it's a BMX game. It has the best soundtrack of any game I've ever played. It's all
Really?
it's 2000s college rock, and a lot of the bands uh, aren't around anymore. The two bands from that soundtrack are still around. There's Reliant K, they're still around, and then there's a band you and I probably don't like that much anymore, Trapped.
I'm so glad you said Trapped. I was literally going to bring up the lead singer of Trapped. I got into a Twitter fight with him.
That's neat.
Ugh, he's so stupid.
Uh, this Third Eye Blind. That was a good band from way back when.
Yeah, I like them.
This is just going to
They
turn
got
into
some
me
good
naming
songs.
bands until I can't anymore.
Do you know Dabbing Westward?
No, I don't.
There's two songs they have that I know. One is, oh man, I don't know. I don't. I think they're a '90s band.
Remember Hoobastank?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to them?
Oh, they have a good name. Dabbing Westward's two songs that I know are "Save Yourself" and "What Do I Have to Do."
Okay.
What do I have to do?
Seether.
Seether's good. But every time I hear Seether, I think of the song Seether by Volcano Girls.
I don't know. You're very good at bringing up bands and artists that I don't know, Dave.
Well, we're going to have to share some music.
We are. We
You know, one of my favorite musicians currently?
Morrissey.
Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah. Ooh, is that a skeleton costume? Oh, she must be a part of the 21 Pilots clique.
Phoebe Bridgers. I bought this because she's always wearing one.
Skeleton. That's weird. I mean, it's not. I'm thinking how bands and musicians nowadays always have some sort of aesthetic to them, but like sometimes it's an aesthetic gimmick. Like
Mm-hmm.
like Billie Eilish. Do you know her?
Billie Eilish.
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 I'm sure I'm saying it. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong because I don't listen to her music. But like apparently
Yeah,
she's known for wearing like baggy clothing.
that's because she didn't want to be sexualized.
Ah, fair
She was
enough.
only like 16 when she first started, and people were still sexualizing her.
Ah, fair enough. All right, then I'm not going to talk about her. 21 Pilots. They did the thing where they put like black makeup on their neck and they like did like the
Yeah, I
skeleton
thought
thing.
those were actual tattoos at first, and I was like, man, that's a choice.
That would be a weird tattoo because it was just like solid black all on the neck.
Yeah, I've seen that on the arm where they have like solid blue or solid black up here.
Yeah.
Pretty weird.
I mean, there were certain bands that it didn't feel gimmicky with, but maybe I'm just biased. Like My Chemical Romance, their aesthetic changed with every album that they did. But I don't think it doesn't feel gimmicky with them. It always feels like there's a part of them still showing throughout uh, their outfits and their aesthetic.
What about David Bowie?
David Bowie, does
He
he
had
feel
like,
gimmicky? Huh. I mean,
I
with his
don't think
aesthetic, I
so,
mean.
but maybe that's just because he's a legend now, so I can't look at him as being gimmicky. But I don't know. Maybe he was back then. I mean, he full on changed personas multiple times.
Yeah. I mean, see, there. Maybe music in general is just full of aesthetics to get eyes on you. I mean, that would make sense because, I could point to my favorite band, the Smiths. One of their early sort of aesthetics to them was Morrissey loved flowers, and he still does, I'm sure. But they would have, flowers around them in their music videos, as well as Morrissey would write for what Morrissey would write somewhat controversial stuff for the time. So his lyrics were kind of flamboyant, kind of gay.
Hmm.
They have the song "This Charming Man," and they have a few other lyrics that hint at like homosexuality and stuff. So that could have been their gimmick. But then on it, I don't know. Music is full of gimmicks. I'm just now realizing that. As someone who's played music for 10 years, I'm just now understanding the industry.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty wild. It's also full of very eccentric, creative people.
Yeah, well, what I've found is the people that are very eccentric on stage, they're usually uh, not that off stage. Usually they're kind of reserved to themselves. So like Marilyn Manson, he's Marilyn fucking Manson on stage. But, when you see him in interviews, he's just sort of like chill, he's talking, he's whatever.
Yeah, he's kind of a train wreck in interviews that I've seen.
Well, no, he's a deep thinker from what I could tell. He wants to dissect things. I think what you're thinking of right now, Dave, is when he went on The Talking Dead a few years back, and it was
Yeah,
very
you
much
got it.
not.
You got it. That was such a disaster.
Whenever someone brings up Marilyn Manson being awkward, I'm like, I know it's from the fucking Talking Dead, man. I know it's
Yeah,
from the Talking Dead.
I think he just got too drunk on his own absinthe backstage, which it does seem like he's got. I don't want to speculate, but some kind of a alcohol problem. It's like last year or the year before, he was on stage and he was like, I don't know, turning his back to the crowd, being like, "I'm not gonna play" or something.
Yeah, that could be like a standard rock. That's sometimes standard rock star
Yeah,
procedure.
the
Like,
whole crowd started
oh, I'm gonna
chanting
take
for
a
a
nap
refund.
unless you guys cheer loud enough. Go on.
Yeah, good musicians don't do that.
Well, nah, you play around with the crowd, especially fucking his crowd where they're like fucking drunk metalheads. You get to
Yeah, but
fucking be
his
aggressive
crowd
with
was
them.
not having it. They were pissed.
Eh, they're
I
fine.
think he actually didn't even end up playing the show.
He's
Pretty sure he just left.
fine. Here's
I don't
here's
know. I hope
why
he's fine.
here's why I love Marilyn Manson. Remember when Columbine happened and the media was going, blame rock and roll. It's the devil's
Yeah,
music. Blame Marilyn Manson. And
yeah.
then I'm not sure if it was in the documentary Bowling for Columbine or
Bowling for
not.
Columbine. Yeah, I was
I'm
in that.
I'm not sure if he was asked this in the documentary or if it was a separate interview. But he was asked if you could see all the people affected from the Columbine shooting, what would you say to them? And he said, I wouldn't say anything to them. I'd listen to what they have to say.
Yeah,
So
it's a good answer.
that stuck in my head as Marilyn Manson being a guy that really defines his own path. Like, they gave him they tried pushing him into this specific answer, but he went so far with it. I don't know. I can't explain it. He just seems like a deep thinker, and people underestimate him because of his aesthetic. You know, they probably at the time they thought, oh, it's just this dumb kid in this dumb goth aesthetic.
How old was he then?
In the 90s, probably in his 20s somewhere, like maybe mid 20s.
God, I feel so old.
Marilyn Manson. He was born in like what 69, I think. Hold on, I'm gonna find this out.
Like Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, all of them did everything that they did and then died younger than I am right now. That's insanity.
Well, to be fair, the drugs weren't the thing that got to Kurt.
No, that's true. Jimmy, either. He was pushed off a building. That's alleged. Alleged. Pretty sure his manager pushed him off a building, though.
Really? Oh, anyway, I was right about Marilyn Manson. Born in 1969. He's 51 years old. So, Columbine, that happened like 95, 96.
Yeah?
I'm gonna look this up.
I feel like it was 92. Same year I was born. I think it was like a month or two before I was born.
'99. Hmm?
That doesn't sound right.
99? 21 years ago?
It was
Marilyn Manson
19...
was 30?
Wait a minute. Columbine happened in 1999? I thought it was earlier than that.
99, Dave. It's right up
Wow.
on here.
Yeah. That is pretty wild.
Oh yeah, we were talking about dead rock stars. You know, how the fuck is Ozzy alive?
I have no idea. No idea.
I mean, I love Sabbath, but to be fair, he really shouldn't be alive.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
A lot of dead musicians. You know, there's a lot of bands that have had like controversy with them and that have had their fans turn against them. Like the Smashing Pumpkins, they've been, up and down with fan loyalty and whatnot. But the only band that I think has ever skated that so easily has been Weezer. I don't think Weezer's fans have ever turned on them.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really paid enough attention to Weezer to know.
I feel like I'm running out of things to talk about. Same? You want to end it?
Want to wrap it up?
We can wrap it up.
How long's it been?
I don't know. That's the thing.
I don't either.
It
What
could have
time do
been
we
2
start?
hours or it could have been 30 minutes. Who knows?
We started at like 9:30, right?
Well, no, I think we wanted to try and start at 9:30, but I was tinkering with things. I don't know. We'll end it.
Right now it's like 11:56.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll end it. We'll end it for this one. We have to
Yeah,
save our talent for next week.
that's right.
Can't
Can't use
burn.
all the topics up in the first episode.
Yup, gotta leave the fans wanting more, Dave.
That's right.
All right, well, thanks everyone for tuning in to the first episode of Dave and Tre'von's Mantastical podcast.